Alright, so no introduction today. Still follow me at BShoot, Brighton Odysseys, Minds, Reddit, and of course, as always, I'm Xer and Instagram, just in case the channel get I get a shadow ban or any of that crap, God forbid. Anyways, that was a shorter one there. Still, anyways, other than that, I had three other things I want to talk about. Probably talk about at the end of the video because this is a very, absolutely tribalistically, even fucking, I'll go as far as to say flabbergastingly, a very long ass news article, so I'm only gonna read half of it. I'm probably gonna skip like maybe 3 or 4 sentences, so that way I can get all my 15 minutes worth of this freaking video. Actually gets my bread and butter, meat and potatoes, what I really truly want to say about it, because this is a huge ass big pill to swallow here. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm going to be obviously super extra careful so that way YouTube doesn't give this thing a community guideline strike either for misinformation or some other bullshit ass freaking excuse for the YouTube algorithm to like push me further and further away from trying to spread the truth out there. Anyways, it's from theguardian.com. Yeah, so it says from theguardian.com, it says U.S. conducted multiple decades Secret Service UFO programming, ex-intelligence officer says. Whistleblower David Grusch claims that, quote, non-human beings are found as issued as alien life forms, receives highest profile airing before the United States Congress. So, yeah, let's begin. Let's just jump into it. Like head smash first, because I'm not wasting time with this bitch, because this is pretty existentially, extremely, in my personal opinion, very, extremely overly fucking, very powerful, very super important news. See, I'm playing some Jack Dexter 3 news. It has nothing to do with freaking this stuff that I'm talking about, but still. That stuff that has certain alien UFOs as Kraken slash creepy ET monstrous demons and entities sort of stuff in that game for Jack 3, so I figured it went pretty well with this video, so let's go. U.S. government conducted a multiple-decade program which is collecting an attempt to reverse engineer crash UFOs, aka UAVs, and that was submergence UFVs, which is crazy. UAPs, excuse me. Former American intelligence officer told a remarkable congressional hearing on Wednesday. David Grusch, this is a while ago, it was almost 4.5, 5 days old. I know I'm late to the party, but I still wanted to see if there was any extra information that was going to be dropped after that, but we really didn't get that much, so let's kindly move the fuck on, if we can. So it says, David Grusch, once again, this guy again, led analysis of unexplained anomalies, unexplained anomalous phenomena, aka the UAPs, within the U.S. Department of Defense Agency until 2023. He had told the Oversighting Committee that Washington and non-human beings have been found, and the issue of alien life has been received in the highest profile airing to date. The hearing was prompted by claims from Grusch in June that the government was secretly doing that, I don't know if I'm even allowed to say that, with spacecraft. Mysterious stuff with the spacecraft. On Wednesday, Grusch repeated some of those claims, although not all under oath. This says, quote, I was informed that, quote, of course my official duties of a multiple-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineer program, to which I have denied access, Grusch has told the committee. Also goes on to say the hearing that attracted the interests of the global interests provided speculation and claims that the United States is hiding evidence of alien, life and technology. Mixed with large doses of skepticism. Of course, it's going to be skepticism whenever these fucking bread and circus political theory bullshit fucking crap always happens all the time. My personal opinion, a lot of it's just staged psyops, not real at all. Like I said before, I'll say it again, I'll say this to the day I hit the grave. On a physical level, it physically exists when it comes to the whole politics, but when it comes to once again, the beliefs, the ideologies, the freaking hyperboles, all the emotional, spiritual, mental stuff, when it comes to that, ruling another person's brain, like I always said before, I'll say it again, I gotta give credit to a dude that I was listening to for 3.5 years, which I kind of stopped listening to 2 years ago, but he was pretty cool anyways. To Brian Young, he's known as High Impact TV. I know some people call him a shill, We always said that the submergences momentos, or the controlling and distortion of the mind. That's really all fucking politics is. It's to mind control everything you fucking say and do every single day of your fucking life. So that's the reason I never cared about politics after I was 19 or 20 years old. I mean, I didn't even care about it before that. I just bored the fuck out of me. But once I knew all the evil demonic entities that were running all that shit, I cared way less afterwards. So let's continue on. Alright, he said that his role in government has changed with investigating military, defense, and other agencies known about the alien crop that allegedly have prevented from accessing secret government UFO programs. Speaking of which, Mr. Grusch has faced very brutal retaliation as a result of his allegations. His quote, this is him saying this, I mean, it hurts me both professionally and as well personally, unquote, Grusch said. Under questioning, Grusch confirmed that he had knowledge of people who had been harmed or injured around him. This is quote, in the course of government efforts to conceal the UFO information. Not surprised. Also goes on to say, asked by an oversight committee member if he had, quote, feared for his life, Grusch replied, yes, definitely. Man, of course. I mean, the dude's really putting his neck out there, and he's not a fake psyop, pretending stage, fucking fake crisis, you know what, bad performer. And he's legit about this, and he really is literally scared that a sniper is going to go and take two in the back of the head and he won't live ever again to expose actual truth. I'm not surprised if the dude's like, Christ, he's probably scared as shit that something like that's going to happen to him. I mean, if I was in this position, I'd be scared as fuck too. I'd probably would change my name, my identity, and leave the United States if I was that dude. In my opinion, but let's move on. Quote, I'm hopeful that my actions, Grusch said, I'm hopeful that my actions will ultimately lead positive outcome and increased transparency. Since then, the intrigue around him of what evidence the government doesn't have around him, around the UFOs, have only intensified. Some other people here. I'm just going to skip some of those anyways. But one of the Republican Democrat people, or senators, I guess, from Kentucky or Ohio, says he defies all of our laws of physics. And it says on Wednesday, however, BROSKI, sought to downplay somewhat as what people would hear. It says, quote, we're not bringing little green men or flying saucers into our hearing. Sorry to disappoint about half of y'all. We're just going to get to the facts. Burkretz said. The announcement drew a chuckle, but Burchett became more serious as he accused government agencies of lack of cooperation with the Oversight Committee investigation. His quote, it has been so difficult to get here today. In the Baptist Church, we say that the devil is in our way, and that the devil has always been in our way for the very first thing. We've run into roadblocks from the memberships and intellectual intelligence community and the Pentagon, of course. And before YouTube tries to say something bad about government, I haven't. I'm just repeating what freaking The Guardian was putting all down creating this whole freaking news headline. Unless this was AI that did it. So let's move on. Excuse me. After Grusch had reiterated his position to the government that he had possession of crashed extraterrestrial vehicles, he was asked if we have had the bodies of the two pilots who piloted this craft. And this is, I guess, what Mr. Grusch said. As I have stated publicly, I have already said in my News Nation interview, biologists came with some of those recoveries. So yeah, the secret's out, bro. Let me just get to this real quick. Let me just pause this shit real fast, honestly. Oh god, this bullshit. I mean, the man saying to himself that they actually literally dug out literal, like, living, breathing, physical materials of actual extraterrestrials, aka aliens, in my personal opinion. I think they just dug out some freaking shape-shifting reptile demon things, pretending to be whatever these alien things are going to look like. I mean, if I had to say one of the two things I really would love for these little, like, outer interdimensional beings, or whatever they are, I hope they're not demons, but they might be, sadly. Because I know my old man, he always say, oh, just demons are just undercover things, disguises of aliens, or aliens and UFO terrestrials and ETs and all that. They're just disguise of evil demonic Satan, the devil's freaking henchmen, and these little evil green horn-looking imps or whatever, you know? I never really believed that too much, but if it is true, that sucks. Honestly, hopefully they look like... This is just me being an anime fucking otaku, weeaboo. This is just a weeaboo nerd in me, but either they look like cool badass Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super freaking characters, or they look like Pokemon. That's what I want. There truly is a God, Heavenly Father, Jesus, if there is a Holy Spirit truly out there, that is what I would love more than anything for them to look like. Well, if they don't look like that, or if they at least look like a Marvel or DC super pretty anime goth girl or something, you know, like Raven. They don't look like any of those things, that sucks. But if they do, badass. That would be like the coolest thing in the world for me to see before I leave this earth. Anyways, let's move on. Let's see. These biologies that I said were not human assessment. People with direct knowledge of the program I have talked to. Currently, I've been on a program. Okay, I'm not going to be able to read this whole fucking thing. It's going to be too long. Fuck. So, yeah. He said in the government he probably knew knowledge of non-humans in the 1930s. At the time, Grusch was less forthcoming and under oath. He had been in the media for interviews. In interviews with Newstation, Grusch claimed that the government had, quote, very large football fields, kinda size alien craft. But he told La Parisien, French newspaper, that the U.S. has had been in possession of Bell-like craft for Benito Mussolini's government of northern Italy in 1933. Okay. Those other stuff. Garrett Graff, journalist and historian who's writing a book on the government hunt for UFO, tweeted, it's X. Very interesting to me that David Grusch is unwilling to state and repeat under oath that hashtag UFO hearings is the most explosive and outlandish of his claims from his News Nation interview. He seems to be very careful dancing around his repeating them. In the run-up of the hearing had been marked to the accusations for Buchrecht and his other co-investigator Anna Paul Luna, a Republican congressman from Florida. They told him that they had been stonewalled by federal officials. I don't know what type of language that is. That's probably just political garbage talk I could give less of a shit about. It says, speaking to the Guardian, he said that Grusch found claims about the recovery of non-human bodies to be credible. He says, I don't want to oversimplify, but how are you going to fly one spaceship? You got to have somebody in it. That seems to be pretty simple, Buchrecht said. Asked what he had learned about the alien craft in the course of his investigation, Buchrecht said, I believe they exist. I knew that before I came in here, but I didn't learn about a lot because I knew the answer already, but I was glad that they put it out on the record. And this is the last one I'm going to read, and that's it. Pentagon has denied Grusch's claim for the cover-up in a statement. A Defense Department spokeswoman, Sue Gao, I don't know who that is. She works for DOD, though, so I don't know how much of an evil or good person she is. Said investigators had not discovered, quote, any verifiable information. The substance claims that any programs regarding to the possession of reverse engineering extraterrestrial materials have ever existed in the past exist currently. So they're pretty much denying that it doesn't exist. I'm not surprised. Other witnesses were in the hearing for David Fravell, a former Navy commander who had once recalled seeing a strange object in the sky while on a training mission in 2004. Ryan Graves, retired Navy pilot, has claimed that he saw the identified aerial phenomena in the Atlantic coast every day for at least a couple of years. So they've seen these UAPs before anything was even a thing. So thoughts, views, and opinions. I'm just going to stay really, really very fast to the point things. This is either a distraction, diversion, or it's real. It's the only thing I'm going to say about it. And this dude, he better get a shitload of protection from Secret Service, because this guy, in my personal opinion, oh man, this dude's got to be walking in that shell so bad. I feel really, really bad for this dude if he really put his life in danger, God forbid. Anyways, two other real quick things. The original director, producer, the creator from Back to the Future, he doesn't want any sequels, reboots, or remakes, remasters for any Back to the Future project, which sucks, but makes sense. Plus, that old Behito dude, Christopher Lloyd, he's going to die pretty soon, which is sad. And then plus, Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's disease, so he's way too old to even play freaking Marty McFly. And there's no way he's going to be able to do that ever again. And then this one was pretty cool. I may or may not do a video on this in the future. It depends. This one I'm definitely doing on it. With Mudahar and the other guy, XQC. I'm doing a video on that. Says Activision suing TikTok user. He's threatened him to using his content. It's Danny Monfanto. That's all I gotta say for now. Peace out. Bye. Talk to you soon.